This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. The House of Representatives on Wednesday voted 238 to 10 with 9 abstentions to adopt the recommendation of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges imposing another 60-day suspension without pay on Cavite 4th District Representative Francisco Kiko Barzaga for repeated and escalating misconduct. The panel cited findings that Barzaga committed fresh violations of House rules in defiance of a stern warning issued by the chamber. Committee Chair for Peace Party List Representative J.C. Abalos said the panel found substantial evidence that Barzaga violated Section 141, Rule 20 of the Rules of the House by continuing to post malicious and defamatory content on social media from the 1st of December, 2025 to the 30th of January, 2026. The new suspension stemmed from a privileged speech and complaint filed by Manila Representative Rolando Valeriano, who alleged that Barzaga openly defied House authority by repeating and intensifying the same disorderly conduct for which he had already been sanctioned. Valeriano cited Barzaga's social media posts accusing fellow lawmakers of receiving bribes from tycoon Enrique Razon in exchange for political support, allegations the committee found to be reckless, defamatory and unsupported. The complaint also pointed to posts vilifying the late Antipolo City Representative Romeo Acap. Abalos said the committee considered the attacks on a deceased colleague especially reprehensible and incompatible with the dignity and restraint expected of a member of Congress. This constitutes a deliberate and reasoned defiance of the authority of the House and its disciplinary process, Abalos said in sponsoring the report. Barzaga was earlier suspended for 60 days after the House adopted Committee Report No. 28 on the 1st of December, 2025, which found him liable for disorderly behavior, including posting incendiary content and retaining publicly viewable inappropriate and indecent material in violation of Section 141A, Rule 20 of the House Rules and Republic Act No. 6713. That report carried a clear warning that any repetition of similar misconduct would merit more severe sanctions. Despite the warning, the committee found that Barzaga continued and escalated the same conduct during the suspension period, using social media accounts identifying him as a sitting congressman. The House plenary directed the committee to assess Barzaga's conduct during the suspension, after which the panel treated the new acts as a continuation of prior misconduct, not a separate case. Abalos said Barzaga ignored formal notices to appear before the committee and publicly declared that he would not attend the ethics hearing, leading the panel to declare him in default. The committee will not tolerate conduct that brings itself and the entire House into disgrace and contempt, Abalos said. The new suspension carries a stern warning that any further repetition of similar misconduct could warrant harsher sanctions, including expulsion from office, under House rules. A policeman, a police asset, and a journalist were among the 11 suspects charged in the gruesome killing of a police officer whose body was discovered inside a septic tank in Malolos City more than a week ago. Police Brigadier General Ponce Rogelio Panones, Jr., Regional Director of the Police Regional Office 3, said among those charged at the City Prosecutor's Office were Police Corporal Vivencio Abalos of the Malolos City Police Station, Julian Salamat, alias Mon, a police informer and alleged gunman, Orland Mauricio, alias Orly, correspondent of a national newspaper and publisher of Bulacan paper, and Mauricio's son Oliver Paul Mauricio alias Sample, owner of the Nipa Hut, which was just about 5 meters across the septic tank where the body was dumped. Also charged were a certain Nick James Camboy, alias NJ, Arvin Santiago, alias RV, alias Agoyeko, alias John, alias Marvin and 2 other still unidentified suspects. The filing of charges on Saturday, the 31st of January, came after the arrest of Abalos, Oliver Paul, Camboy and Santiago in the morning, following the discovery and retrieval of the nearly decomposing body of Police Staff Sergeant Renato Casoy Jr., 6 days after he was reported missing. The elder Mauricio, a correspondent of a national broadsheet and publisher of a provincial newspaper in Bulacan, said was preparing his counter-affidavit denying any knowledge of or participation in the crime. He told the Inquirer in a phone interview on Wednesday that contrary to police claims, he did not own the property where Casoy was shot dead and thrown into the septic tank. Casoy, a resident of Barangay Santa Barbara, City of Baliwag working for the Drug Enforcement Group Special Operation Unit of PRO3, left his house in Baliwag on board his motorcycle on the 24th of January and went to Green Street in Felicissima Village in Barangay Mojan, City of Malolos. A closed-circuit television footage recovered by the police and shown to the media on Tuesday showed Kasoy arriving at a tricycle terminal in a vacant lot near where the Nipa hut of the young Mauricio stood. Kasoy was walking towards the Nipa hut when he was suddenly shot 6 times. One of the suspects seen and heard in the video ordered someone to immediately dispose of the body to prevent the blood from spreading. Go, 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 go quickly as the blood will spill. Mauricio said the police had linked him to the crime due to his alleged ownership of the lot where his son's Nipa hut stood. I am not the owner of that property where my son built a Nipa hut and where the septic tank is located. It is a vacant lot used as a tricycle terminal, he said, adding that a certification from the city assessor's office would attest to what he was saying. The body of Kasoy was recovered inside the septic tank around 1:30 am on the 31st of January, 6 days after he was reported missing and a day after a witness reported to the police that Salamat, the alleged gunman, had come to him and confessed to the killing. Kasoy's body was covered with cement and garbage when it was found inside the septic tank, the police report said. Colonel Ronald Genoblazo, Malola's city police chief, told the Inquirer on Wednesday the young Mauricio's Nipa hut was just around 5 meters away from the spot where Kasoy was shot. Kasoy's family reported him missing after he failed to return home on the 25th of January. The older Mauricio had sought the help of the Commission on Human Rights for his protection. He also denied his son's participation in the killing. Albura. Let Mayor Roland Kerwin Espinoza had surrendered to the Regional Trial Court Branch 14 in Cebu City on Thursday following the issuance of an arrest warrant against him. In a video message to his supporters, Espinoza said he went to the court at around 10 am to surrender, asking for prayers for his safety. I would like to inform you that a warrant of arrest was issued against me at about 10 am, and I am now on my way to the authorities to surrender. I will not wait for the warrant to be served on me. I am just asking for you to pray for my safety, that nothing untoward will happen to me. Thank you, Alburans. Hope to see you soon, he said. A close aide of Espinoza said the mayor was not fully aware of the specific charges that led to the issuance of the warrant. According to a copy of the warrant provided by the aide, Judge Melo Pasco Bagano of RTC Branch 14 issued the arrest order on Wednesday, the 4th of February. The court denied bail for Espinoza and his co-accused, Ronald Daniels Bulak, Eddie Mardemingoy Mitra, and Marcelo Adorco. The background of the case is not yet clear to us because the mayor doesn't know about this, the aide said in Filipino. Espinoza had earlier indicated his willingness to face any complaint but maintained uncertainty about the charges. In an online interview on the 2nd of February, he claimed the charges are part of schemes by his political opponents. This is another tactic of our political opponents to discredit my mayorship, similar to what they did to former Mayor Onic, referring to his father, Rolando Espinoza Sr., who was killed inside the Baybay City Sub-Provincial Jail on November 5, 2016, in an operation conducted by the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Authorities allege that Espinoza Sr. attempted to shoot at them while a warrant was being served. The Espinoza family has been repeatedly linked to illegal drug activities by no less than President Rodrigo Duterte. Amid this controversial history, the younger Espinoza won the 2025 mayoral election in Albura, with his sister, Marielle, serving as his running mate. Last April, Espinoza also survived an alleged ambush attempt while attending a gathering at a gym in Barangay Tinagan, which he blamed on political rivals. Matalim Mayor Oscar Valdivieso has condemned the ambush of retired Colonel Leonardo Sonkeo on Friday and offered 500,000 pesos in cash reward for any information that would help the police identify, arrest, and prosecute the perpetrators. Unidentified men armed with assault rifles ambushed Sonkeo, 60, in Barangay Kidimahir at past noon on Friday. Lieutenant Colonel Arniel Milocatones, Matalim Municipal Police Chief, said Sonkeo, a resident of the village, was driving his Nissan Navara pickup truck when gunmen, armed with M16 rifles and caliber 45 pistol, opened fire on him. The suspects quickly fled on motorbike. Police found empty shells for M16 rifle and caliber 45 pistol at the crime scene. Sonkeo is currently the president of Cotabato Provincial Federation of Senior Citizens Association of the Philippines and president of Kidima Communal Irrigators Association. Police investigation is continuing. More than 70 police officers in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao were relieved from their posts following an alleged hazing incident in Basilan. The officers belonged to the Regional Mobile Force Battalion 14B under the Police Regional Office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, according to Philippine National Police spokesperson Brigadier General Randolph Tuano. All members of the Regional Mobile Force Battalion 14B were removed and replaced with members of 14A, so, all of them, 70 plus, were administratively relieved, Tuano said in a press briefing in Camp Crame. 12 non-commissioned officers, among those relieved from their posts, were positively identified by complainants, he added. The relieved police personnel were placed under the PROBAR Holding and Accounting Section in Parang, Maguindanao del Norte, pending investigation for possible violation of the Anti-Hazing Act RA 11053. The PNP has zero tolerance for hazing and training and welcome rights, Tuano said. The complaint was initially filed by one recruit, followed by statements from 18 classmates and later 110 others. All victims are undergoing medical evaluation as investigators determine if more officers were involved. Tuano said the recruits suffered physical injuries, including hematoma, punches, slaps, and other forms of assault. The alleged hazing occurred last week at the RMFB headquarters in Barangay Ubit, Limaton City, Basilan. An initial police report said recruits were forced to duck walk, lie and roll on the ground, and were beaten with wooden sticks and harness. The National Police Commission, meanwhile, is conducting a parallel investigation, citing its mandate to uphold human rights and the lawful treatment of police personnel. Meanwhile, PROBAR Chief Brigadier General Jason de Guzman visited the recruits in Limaton City and assured them of a thorough investigation. A senior citizen died after a patrol car hit the motorcycle or tricycle that she rode on the national highway of Barangay Tangohay, Damao, Bohol, on Sunday, the 8th of February, 2026. A certain Maximino Yesiek, 55 years old, a resident of Barangay Tayangan, Cabachuan, Damao Town drove the Motorola. The Motorola had 3 passengers, namely, Marcela Mamuag, 80 years old, Marian Namuag, 45 years old, and Crispa Joy Cabanas, 40 years old. All of them were residents of Barangay Tangohay, Damao Town. Meanwhile, the Jana Municipal Police Station had stewardship of the patrol car, which Police Senior Master Sergeant Neil Bernal drove. Based on the information from the Damao Municipal Police Station, authorities received a call regarding the incident and immediately went to the scene. In the initial investigation, they found out that the Motorola was traveling to Valencia while the patrol car was traveling to Jana from the Regional Trial Court Branch 50 in Loai, Bohol. Upon reaching the place, the Motorola made a stop, and one of the passengers stepped out of the vehicle. However, the patrol car suddenly hit the Motorola, which resulted in damage to both vehicles. The driver and the 2 passengers, Mary Ann and Crispa Joy, were brought to the nearest hospital for immediate medical treatment. However, the 80-year-old Marcela died on the spot. Currently, Bernal remains in the custody of Damao Police Station for possible filing of charges against him. A fire officer allegedly involved in the illegal recruitment scam was nabbed following the complaint of a female applicant during an entrapment operation in San Carlos City, Pangasinan. The Bureau of Fire Protection said the 35-year-old suspect, who holds the position of Fire Officer 3 and is currently assigned at the Candon City Fire Station, was collared by the police and BFP operatives during the 6th of February sting operation at a local establishment in Barangay Rizal. In a formal complaint, the 28-year-old victim claimed that the fire officer supposedly received a total of 90,000 pesos for her with the promise of a guaranteed slot in the BFP Region 1 office. Despite fulfilling all requirements, the victim was never enlisted, with the suspect agreeing to return a portion of the money amounting to 30,000 pesos, which led to the coordinated intervention by police and BFP intelligence units. Following the operation, authorities recovered 30 pieces of 1,000 peso bills from the suspect, which served as vital evidence for the illegal recruitment process. BFP Chief Jesus Fernandez called on the public to come forward and report similar illegal recruitment schemes to help weed out the scalawags in the bureau, as he emphasized that applicants are not required to pay to gain entry in the BFP, as recruitment is strictly based on merit and fitness. Tenangono, Rizal police officers were relieved from their posts and placed under restrictive custody for allegedly arresting a criminology student on a falsified drug charge and demanding 100,000 pesos for his release. The Police Regional Office Calabarzon said on Wednesday, the Police Regional Office Calabarzon will conduct its own parallel internal investigation to determine the accountability of those involved and to ensure that due process is strictly observed. PRO4A said in a statement, as an immediate administrative measure, the subject's personnel were administratively relieved, disarmed of their issued firearms, and placed under restrictive custody of the Administrative Holdings Section of the Rizal Police Provincial Office, pending the outcome of the investigation. It added, the 10 cops are facing an administrative complaint for grave misconduct and conduct unbecoming of a police officer before the National Police Commission, which was lodged on Tuesday by the victim, Nestor Macabenta Jr. Napolcom Executive Officer Rafael Calinazan previously identified the officers as a police captain, a police chief master sergeant, 2 master sergeants, 5 staff sergeants, and a police corporal, all with the municipal police's anti-drug unit. The PRO4A affirmed its support and pledged cooperation for Napolcom's investigation. We reiterate that PRO Calabarzon stands for integrity, professionalism, and respect for human rights, PRO4A said. Any personnel found to have violated the law and PNP rules will be dealt with accordingly. There will be no whitewash, and no one is above the law, it added. After lodging his complaint, Macabenta told reporters that the officers arrested him in Angono on November 10, 2025 and pressured him into saying he was buying drugs from 2 suspects nabbed in the same area during a buy-bus operation an hour prior. Macabenta said the officers demanded that he pay 100,000 pesos to be released, but he pleaded with them to allow him to only pay 50,000 pesos, citing expenses for his pregnant partner. His sister sent the 50,000 pesos to one of the officers through an electronic wallet, yet Macabenta was kept in detention until the Angono prosecutor's office junked the case against him last the 27th of January. Calinazan earlier said he was considering recommending criminal cases against the officers as well for planting of evidence, robbery, extortion, and illegal arrest. A soldier was gunned down by a colleague inside the headquarters of the 3rd Infantry Division in Jamaican Town, Capiz Province. The victim was a 26-year-old private first class and a native of Libungan Town, Cotabato Province. According to the Jamaican Municipal Police Station, the incident occurred around 11:30 p.m. on Monday, the 9th of February. Police Captain J.P. Silvestre, Jamaican MPS officer in charge, said the victim and the suspect, a 31-year-old private from Lambunao Town, Iloilo Province, were drinking with colleagues and the victim even helped the suspect walk back to his barracks as he was allegedly drunk and could no longer walk straight. Other soldiers were roused from their sleep when they heard a gunshot and saw the wounded victim who was taken to the hospital inside the camp where he was declared dead from a bullet wound in the head. Police have yet to determine the motive. Silvestre said that other soldiers told police there was no bad blood between them. The suspect is in the custody of the Jamaican MPS and will be charged with murder. That's all for this week. I'll see you next Friday with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.